It's the Andy Thompson Show on ESPN 97.7.
And auto paint. Let's do it, Larry. What do we got?
The Sport Hole.
Sports.
What's the hardest FCS game on the schedule for UTU and SUU?
What's the hardest FCS game on the schedule for Utah Tech and SUU? It's a great question because we know the FBS games they play. SU's got Utah, and Utah Tech has UNLV. Utah Tech's probably easy because it might be the first game they play, right? Montana State at Greater Zion Stadium.
Yeah.
You think that's probably it for Utah Tech?
So what I really wanted to say, Montana State's probably the most talented team. I don't know who they've had transfer, things like that, all that kind of stuff. But the easy choice is each other. Rivalry game.
Oh, I get you.
For the Axe.
I get you.
SUU's the hardest game is going to be Utah Tech.
Hey, you throw the record books out when they get together for that Axe. Yeah.
And that's what we've done the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, you throw the record books out, any time, any place. The games have been close. They've been high flying. Things have happened, and so yeah, I would say that last game, November 23rd, Utah Tech travels to Cedar City to play for the Axe. In the Black Ridge rivalry is what I've dubbed it. And I know a couple others have as well. I love they don't even have the Utah Tech logo up on ESPN, which is fun. But yeah, I would say just each other.
All right, you're going with the rivalry game. I would go with, just as far as talent and stiff competition, Montana State. But as far as a game that is probably going to be 4 quarters of hell, that's your rivalry game up in Cedar, right? At Eccles Coliseum against who, I think it's going to be Barron up there at Bronson Barron.
Yeah.
For Southern Utah. And I think it's going to be the kid from Syracuse at Utah Tech.
I agree.
None of that's official, but I think that's where it's going based on what we've seen so far. So I like that. SUU's schedule, very similar. I mean, when I look at the UAC Max, isn't Utah Tech and SU going to be able to compete pretty well against North Alabama? I don't know a lot about West Georgia. I know they were picked last, I think, right? In the UAC. Central Arkansas, it was picked first. I don't think there's going to be multiple games where either of these teams are blown out in conference, right? Yeah,
just having played in the UAC last season, all the teams are really close together.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't that many blowouts. It's like it didn't matter. The last team in the conference would lose to the top team in the conference by a touchdown, a field goal. Yeah. That's how close the conference was, and that was throughout every single week. You're looking at scores, and you're like, Austin P ended up being the best team in the conference last year, but they didn't beat anybody by more than 14 points.
Yeah.
And so this is a very well-balanced conference, and a lot of different things can happen week to week.
And so for a team like SU who's picked third, and then Utah Tech is picked 8th, which is in a 9-team conference, and I know I say this probably every year because rose-colored goggles for the local teams, I think Utah Tech will surprise some people and maybe a little bit higher, and SUU, I think, has a chance to be even higher than third, potentially, with a new quarterback. So I'm really excited about both of these teams' chances, and like you said, every game's close in conference anyway, so makes it fun. I mean, the margin of difference is so small that you can't pooch it, any given Saturday in the UAC, right?
Yeah.
As long as the conference still together, it's any given Saturday.
We will see how long that thing lasts. But I remember my second year in the conference, we went down to Nacogdoches, Texas, and faced the team winning the conference in Stephen F. Austin, 13-game win streak on their homecoming. All these, we should not have even been close.
I remember that game.
And we hung 50 on those guys.
I remember that.
Of course, they hung 44 on us.
Right.
And so, but we were 1-5, 1-6. Go to Nacogdoches and beat the top team in the conference.
Yeah.
By 3 points.
Remind my dumb brain, what was the game that you guys either made a stop on the goal line to win the game? You remember that?
That was that game.
That was that game.
Yes.
So that was that high-scoring game.
Yep.
They had one last play from what, like the 2-yard line or something?
Yeah, they chose not to kick a field goal to go into overtime. They're like, we're winning or losing on the last play of the game. We end up stuffing them.
You guys stuffed them.
Yep.
That was awesome. Was there, I know the first few years for Utah Tech basketball, talking with Coach Judkins, like, the way the Texas teams played in basketball was like, holy cow. We know if we're going to Texas, we're in for a game that's going to be super physical, and it's a kind of a different brand of basketball.
Yeah.
Was there a difference in football, like that you could tell, like, oh, we're going to play a Texas school, or Texas school is coming here? There's a difference that they play, or personnel-wise at all, that was easy to recognize?
No, pretty much across the conference, everybody was pretty even. Everybody, of course, operates in a different way, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, Texas, they're coming to beat the crap out of us, or oh, SUU's just going to freaking put all the air out of the ball, with Justin Miller and just chucking it around the yard. No, everybody was pretty balanced throughout their offensive schemes, whether, both run and pass.
And you think, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I'm excited, and I think you're excited for Utah Tech, Coach Lance Anderson, not only the defensive scheme that is a little quirky and hard to game plan for with the kind of dynamic 3-4 that they play, but also the way that they're going to play old school Toby Gerhardt in the backfield, double tight end offense. Like, I think that's going to put them in a position to kind of be like, everybody always says it when, like in the Mountain West, when you got to go play Air Force. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is a totally different game we got a game plan for. With everybody just running the same stuff, when you play a team that has a quarterback under center and a running back behind him and a couple tight ends, that takes some adjusting.
For sure.
Every week. So I think that's going to be cool for Utah Tech this year. All right. Thank you, Larry. Let's do it.
The Sport Hole. Sports.
What's a sport that needs to be added to the Summer Olympics?
Ooh, it's a great question, because I think the track and field stuff in the summer has always been awesome. Basketball's probably always been the biggest deal since the Dream Team in Barcelona in '92. I would like to see... I know Peyton was talking about, I don't know if it was with McAfee or somebody else talking about flag football.
Okay.
The problem is it would be a bloodbath for everybody besides the United States.
Yeah. That's officially getting added.
Is that added this year?
No, I think it's ironically, it'll be for the 2028 Olympics in LA. So it'll be on American soil on top of that.
Oh, so that's actually happening.
I believe that's been sanctioned. I believe that is happening. The most interesting thing will be, is it going to be all pro players? You're going to take college guys too? You're going to have a Christian Laettner? I mean, how do you decide who's on the team?
I think you guys said high school players, right? I mean, you're going to be playing Lithuania's 7-on-7 team, and you're going to have Tyreek and Mahomes out there.
And it's funny because a lot of the pro guys want to do it. A lot of the pro guys want to go.
If they did, like in '92 in the basketball, when Jordan and the Dream Team were winning every game by 50 points.
Playing Albania, and
this would kind of be like that, right?
Yeah.
But it would be cool. I mean, it would be cool to get that started, because you look at what happened after that Olympics internationally in basketball. It was like everybody bought in. Everybody's gotten better. 30 years later, or however long it's been, it's competitive. So maybe you start now. Of course, America's going to kick everybody's butt, but maybe in 30 years, everybody else is more confident, kind of like basketball.
Yeah, because I mean, look at how much. This is the most talented Olympics in basketball ever. Yeah. I mean, because you're talking about the top 2 players in the world might be from Serbia and Greece. Yeah. Right? And so, look at what the 92 team did. Like you said, when it came to growing, everybody's like, oh, time for us to take basketball seriously. Now, across the landscape, you have South Sudan playing us down to the wire.
Exactly. And what I'm saying is, with flag football, it's like all these countries, all they have is soccer. Yeah. Some of them have basketball. But just introduce them to the far superior sport. Yes. of American football. And we're not. It'll change their whole outlook on life. And
we're not asking Usain Bolt to put on the pads and run a quick slant.
Exactly.
Okay. Where's that? Like, you don't get hit. Yeah. So you think about a lot of these countries who thrive in track. Yeah. Find somebody who can throw.
Absolutely.
There's some competition there.
It's much easier. That's a great point. Because with pads, that takes some infrastructure and some linemen.
You ain't doing that.
That'll take a while.
Yeah.
But flag, heck, you can get that going in a few years. All right.
For me, it's pickleball. That's easy. Easy answer. You add pickleball to the Olympics.
I'm amazed it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that needs to be added. And I, like you say, I guess flag, because I'd heard it bandied about, but I didn't know it was official. That's awesome. That's coming. I bet 2028, I bet pickleball will be added by then.
Should be.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
The Sport Hole.
Sports.
What do you think about the scholarship changes in college sports?
Well, we talked about Dabo's response to it. So now, football went from 80-something to 20 more to, I think it was like 85 max to 105. Basketball is up, Larry, do you have that in front of you?
No.
Anyway, basketball has a bunch more. Every sport has a bunch more. And the idea is, this is great. We get to pay more kids scholarships, but it axes the opportunity for walk-on kids because you can't have anybody on the roster who's not a scholarship player. You can't have a kid playing for free basically anymore. And I think Dabo's point was, there's a certain type of kid where you want that type of player on your team who's a walk-on, who's the whole team kind of rallies around, and there's a benefit to that, not only for the team, but for the kid. And Dabo kind of credits his whole career because he got an opportunity to walk on at Bama. So I can see that. I can see that point on it. Having walk-ons is kind of the underdog Rudy Rudiger story in college football that will now kind of be deprived of, and it's kind of more of a move of another step in professionalizing college football. What's your take on this, Max?
I understand what it is. I mean, but I also feel like it'll kind of level out, right? Because you have a lot of, there's the amount of NFL players and great NFL players who start out as walk-ons, right? And they were just discovered and then they developed through college into the NFL. And so it's not like, the argument that kids are going to lose opportunities, I think, is false because you think about it. Alabama increases their number of scholarships, right? So then they add, some more 4 stars and 3 stars. But then also too, you have Utah State and Boise State are going to increase it. So it's like you have the guys who are, you have guys who would be walk-on guys at Alabama, but started at Boise State who are now going to be scholarship guys at Bama. So then Boise State has to go find 20 more scholarship guys who would probably be walk-ons, who would start an FCS school, but be walk-ons there. So it's not like it's not like a lack of opportunities. The reason coaches are so mad is because it's going to be harder to bully kids around.
Yeah.
And it's going to be harder to put guys on scout team.
Yeah, right.
That's really what it is. Yeah. Okay? Because if you're a walk-on guy, you're automatically on scout team. Right? You're the practice dummy, this and this. Now that everybody's going to be a scholarship kid, it's going to be hard to look somebody in the face and say, you're 5th on the depth chart. Oh, yeah, you're scout team for the whole entire year.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder to control the environment. That's why college coaches are so upset because there goes their scout team.
Yeah.
Right.
And those are just guys that were hamburger meat who would do anything you said that you don't have anymore. So I understand that.
And the try-hard guys, just like the lunch pail guy.
Yeah, and the example to the coach, this kid's not even, he's got to pay his own tuition and he's working harder than all you guys. So I understand that part of it. I also think part of Dabo's point is, okay, if I were coming up in this era, I would be a scholarship player potentially at, like you say, Boise State. Maybe I'm the 98th scholarship player at Boise State, but a guy like me will get a scholarship somewhere, but we won't get to be at Bama. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a 6'4", 840 receiver. I ain't going to Bama.
Yeah.
But maybe I can get a scholarship. So I guess there's an element of that too, where Rudy Rudiger in the movie Rudy probably isn't going to make a walk-on team at Notre Dame at 5'8" playing defensive end. Yeah. By the way, that whole movie's, well, I don't want to say it's all BS because I love that movie. Where does Rudy rank? Have you seen Rudy?
I have, yeah. Have you heard Joe Montana? Because Joe Montana was on that Notre Dame team. Have you heard him?
I didn't even know Rudy, or like I don't even remember that happening against Georgia Tech at the end.
And he says he's like, listen, he's like I don't love to talk to people about Rudy because it is so far out there and so not what it actually was.
Yeah.
Because again, nobody knew who this dude was in practice. Nobody remembers that time in the Georgia Tech game. Like, it's kind of just like, so I dash everyone's hopes when they ask me about it, because he's like, do you realize how talented our team was?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Nobody cared about him.
Yeah.
So.
And my understanding, not to keep, because I love Rudy, but like the thing where they're carrying him off the field and stuff. Either, I can't remember if that didn't really happen or if they're doing it more in the whole stadium chanting Rudy and stuff. I want to believe that that'll happen. I don't think it probably did, but I still want to make. Here's what I love about Rudy, Max. The actual football in that movie, like the practice, it's awesome.
Yes.
Like those are real, like the linemen in that movie, those are like real football players, you know? And there's so many football movies where it's just like they've got some dance choreographer like designing the action in the football scenes, and the players have never played before, and it's so apparent. Rudy, they went and got real junior college football players to suit up and film those scenes, and that's why, to me, Rudy is awesome. And he's a Mormon now, by the way. All right.
The Sport Hole. Sports.
Who's the best current NFL player who played at a Utah college?
Well, this is a question that's asked a lot, Sambo. It's probably still Fred Warner.
Easy.
Not even close. He's the best in the... Is he still the best in the league?
Yeah. Yeah, he's still... I mean, because Fred Warner is the best guy at his position in the NFL, which I don't think any other guy from a Utah college can say. Right. So, yeah, but far and away. And because Fred Warner is a first ballot, no-brainer Hall of Famer already as well in his career, which you can't really, I don't know if you can say that about any, I mean, you might be able to say that about Bobby Wagner, but he's way past his prime.
Like, this was a more compelling argument, right, when Wagner was still considered a top guy in the league.
Yeah.
I think for the future, once Warner gets out of his prime, I think Puka has a chance. I mean, Puka was a second-team All-Pro last year.
Yes.
In a crazy year, and I know he got a bunch more targets when Cooper Kupp was out, but I was amazed by what he did.
Yeah. Jordan Love. That's the one, I mean, that's... Everybody's like, this guy
he's winning playoff games.
Yeah, so I mean, is Jordan Love the next after Fred Warner kind of falls away? Is it Jordan Love who, just because I mean, Puka can only control so much. Jordan Love is as the quarterback.
If Jordan Love is consistently winning playoff games, winning his division as the quarterback, I think he leaps that.
Yeah.
People love to talk about Taysom because he's a unicorn, and as of late, there's been a lot of stuff out there that he should be a Hall of Famer and stuff like that. Yeah,
from Derek Carr specifically. Did you see his interview?
That's probably what I saw.
Yeah, because he's the best football player I've ever seen. The one that did come to mind when I heard this question, I mean, an upcoming guy for sure, Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah,
had a fantastic year last year, and I mean, off the top of my head, he's going to be the number one target for Josh Allen coming into this year for the Bills.
Yeah.
So I think Dalton Kincaid is definitely a guy to look at on the horizon, especially in young tight ends in general coming up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you could say, if you look at the linemen, I don't know. Several years ago, I think Garrett Bowles was one of the top linemen in the AFC West. I think incoming linemen, who the heck knows, some of these BYU guys like Blake Freeland. So there's a bunch of secondary players. What's his name from Utes? There's a bunch of them. But
yeah,
I would say I think we've named the top 4 or 5 there. But I think it's still Fred Warner's title, Beehive King in the NFL. Thank you, Larry.
The Sport Hole. Sports.
How many more years will Kalani Sitakai be the coach at BYU?
Good question, Sambo. Here's the issue with Kalani in my mind, Max, is everybody loves him. Everybody loves to play for him. Everybody loves to be on his coaching staff. He kind of has the Big 12 excuse. Had it last year, probably has it this year. he's BFF with Tom Holmoe. And so the question is, what's the number this year that if BYU doesn't hit 3 wins, will that get him fired? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's built up so much support just because of what a great guy he is, that it's like, I don't know. If the over-under in Vegas is 4.5, so let's say he wins 4 games this year, are they going to is BYU the type of athletic department that fires coaches? They never have. So it's tricky for Sitake. I can't imagine. Every year it's like, how hot is Kalani's seat? How hot is Kalani's seat? I don't think it's that hot just because it's BYU.
Yeah.
And the situation he's in being fairly new to a power conference, honestly. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
2.
2 wins?
No, well, I'm 2 years.
2 years.
Yes. I think they're going to give him this full season, and they're not going to go to a bowl game.
Yeah.
And then next season, so BYU, 3 straight seasons without a bowl game.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's right.
And also, too, this is going to be, that's going to be year 3 of seeing what kind of recruits he can get in the Big 12, which I don't think are going to be that great again. And then, yeah. So if
I'm Kalani, I'm putting my arms up like, hey, Royal Blue Collective or whatever. Where's my cash?
Yep.
You're giving it all the basketball. Give me some money, then I can win.
Yeah.
And the problem for Kalani, too, is you now have contrast with your rival that's so clear. So let's say Utah wins the Big 12, like some people are saying they will this year.
Yeah.
And if BYU's way the heck down where they're predicted, and that happens 2 years in a row, to your point, that is, to have your rival be up where you want to be and you're so far down, that's another reason to get somebody canned. But
yeah.
So you're going 2 years? Yeah.
Also, too, it's like if you, I feel like, too, it'll be pretty clear heading into year 3 of the bit. Basically, if after this season they cannot get an NFL caliber quarterback on the roster, I think it's over at that point too. Because even if you're BYU and you're not playing for 9, 10, 11 wins, right? I mean, you had a Jaron Hall's last season at BYU won 7 games, maybe 8 games, right? But he was an NFL quality quarterback. So even if you're not competing for much over 6 wins in a bowl, and go play in the New Mexico Aflac, whatever bowl, right? You're going up to Boise to play in that bowl game, right? At the very least, you're turning out NFL talent, specifically at the quarterback position. Yeah. And so I think, I don't remember, you're talking to my uncle who's been a BYU fan since he was 2 years old. He's like, I don't remember a time where we were this abysmal at the quarterback position, right? For multiple seasons. Yeah. And so if, you didn't have one last year, you're not going to have one this year. If you're not able to pull somebody out of the portal next year, you kind of got to be, or grab a highly rated recruit.
And that's the problem.
I mean, because the biggest thing they're seeing too is that not only is BYU missing on top recruited quarterbacks in general, they're missing on top recruited quarterbacks who have LDS ties.
Yes.
Guys who fit exactly, who are part of the church.
Yeah.
Who are turning them down.
Yes. And then they're having to go on the scrap heap and get guys like Slovis and Bohannon who aren't top end guys. So my view with the quarterback situation is, if the position you are in now, where you're not very good in your conference and you're not able to get the top flight LDS kids, which you've been able to get since 1975 or whenever Lavelle took over, you can't get those guys. Then you need to be competitive in the NIL marketplace, where you can go buy somebody who's can get you 7 wins or get you 8 wins or something, and that's going to cost a lot of money. And you've shown the basketball can get that type of money and go get multiple 5-star prospects, and football, hasn't been able to. And they're in a situation, and I kind of believe in Bohannon. I think he's been in a tough program the last couple of years, and he won a bunch of games in the Big 12 last time he was in it, in Baylor and all that stuff, and he's the most gifted player. I think it's got to be him, although some people say no, it's Retzlaff.
Yeah, everything that I've heard, that it's
and I'm like, how is that going to happen?
It's Retzlaff's job to lose right now.
That's crazy to me.
And I don't know if you heard this, but multiple sources I've heard from inside the program is that, because Zach Wilson's little brother, a 4-star kid out of Corner Canyon, goes to Utah, to the BYU. Apparently, Zach told him that Utah has a better has an offense
prep for the NFL.
More prep for the NFL.
Yeah.
And so that's also a testament to Kalani as well.
Yeah.
And the downfall that's happening at BYU, specifically on the offensive side of the football.
Yes.
And again, I believe they have their coach in waiting in Jay Hill.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world if Kalani's not the head coach of BYU, because I think Jay Hill, I know him personally, be a fantastic, replacement in that regard. So.
Yeah, I agree. All right, thank you, Larry. So Max is saying 2 years. I'll go over that. I think Kalani, for some reason, I can't envision him being forced out. I feel like he's going to get. I'll go over Max's 2 years, so I'll say 3 years plus. And when he leaves, it'll be kind of a mutual type of a deal, just because of all the cred he's built up in Provo.
The Sport Hole. Sports.
What's your biggest pet peeve that football players do on the field?
Biggest pet peeve that football players do on the field? Mine is Dion style. So Dion in the 90s at cornerback was like so cool. He was just half dressed. Like both chin strap was down, his gloves weren't strapped up, his mouthpiece wasn't in. He was just so cool. And I was always like, how can you play? I know you're a DB.
The National Weather Service in Salt Lake City has issued a flash flood warning for southeastern Iron County in southern Utah, east central Washington County in southwestern Utah until 7:45 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. At 4:40 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, Doppler radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain in and around Gannarville, which has moved into the Gannar Creek and Spring Creek drainages. The storm has also brought brief heavy rainfall to Taylor Creek in Kolob Canyon within Zion National Park. Between 0.5 and 1 inch of rain has fallen. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. Hazard, life-threatening flash flooding. Thunderstorms producing flash flooding. Source, radar. Impact, life-threatening flash flooding of creeks and streams, urban areas, streets, and normally dry washes. Some locations that will experience flash flooding include Zion National Park, specifically the Kolob Canyon area in Gannarville. Turn around. Don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles. Repeating, a flash flood warning has been issued until 7:45 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time for the following counties in Utah, Iron, and Washington.
In football.
Very timely question, Larry. Dylan Cease with a no-no for the Padres. The no-hitter equivalent in football. You could say the perfect QB rating game, 158.3 or whatever. That's tough. You got a good one? Because I don't.
So I have two that are kind of tied for me. One is a corner who is targeted at least 4 times in a game. My original number was 5, so let's stick with that.
Okay.
A corner who's targeted at least 5 times in a game and allows 0 catches.
Okay.
Or a right or left tackle who allows 0 pressures in a game.
Okay.
Not sacks.
Okay.
Just pressures. Okay, because that's a lot. Because you can give
that's every play. That's
yes,
just like a pitcher every pitch. That's a lot of reps that a tackle's taken where they're rushing the quarterback.
Yeah, because you can give up 15 pressures but no sacks, and sometimes that can be because your quarterback breaks out of a tackle,
right?
Because he scrambles. But if you don't allow the guy who's going against you to even get close. That's really impressive, especially in today's age of pass rushers.
So my question would be, what do you think, like Trent Williams or Panay, Sewell, how many no-hitters would they have in a season? Like like you say, no pressures in a game. Like how often do you think that happens?
I would say 3 or 4 probably.
Like the best in the league, maybe get a few a year.
Yeah, that's what it could be because again, you're gonna go against a team because every team has a premier pass rusher, but they also want that premier pass rusher to not rush against the best guy.
Yeah,
and then so you're gonna play a bad team who only has one pass rusher on it, and so you're gonna go against their second best dude on a bad team all game 2 or 3 times a year.
It's good. I always think that those are great. Those are better than mine because I was thinking quarterback, and a quarterback would have to be, to me, it would have to be even better than a perfect passer rating because there's a lot of perfect passer rating games, and if you're trying to make it an equivalent to Major League Baseball where there's only a handful of no-hitters, if that every year, it would almost have to be like 21 of 22, 5 touchdowns or something like that, like 1 incompletion or none in a game, which is almost impossible. So I don't know. That might be more of a perfect game. All right. Great question, Larry.
The Sport Hole.
Sports. Who's the biggest challenger in the AFC for the Chiefs?
You already know my answer.
Oh, yeah. I do
Houston Texans. Okay, I'm going to be a complete homer on this one. Absolutely. I think I don't know why the Texans aren't. They're talked about in random Super Bowl discussions, right? Them and the Packers, kind of like the 2 young dark horses in the NFC and the AFC. But no one's realistically being like, okay, how do they match up against a team that just won the Super Bowl inside their conference in the AFC? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's where I think the conversation needs to be more tailored. And I believe they are very well equipped to line up against the Chiefs, which not a lot of people are talking about. It's the Bills and the Jets. And, this is Trevor Lawrence's best Jaguars team that he's going to come up with, that he's going to have this season. This and this. The Texans are the best challengers for the Chiefs in the AFC.
I agree.
I also like the Chargers.
I was going to say the Harbaugh's first year, he's kind of like the Dan Campbell of the AFC West. He'll bite your kneecaps off. He'll send stallions with a camcorder. What else? Harbaugh. Poor Harbaugh. Why would he go to that division? I understand you get Herbert.
Yeah.
But you got to go play Mahomes. Nobody can beat Mahomes. Except for C.J. Stroud, apparently. and
I think when you think about it too, he shows up at Michigan that could never beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
Right? And he goes back-to-back years, beats them for the first time in forever, and then goes back and then beats them badly back-to-back years.
Yes.
Right? And so he's thinking about, hey, I stepped into a Big Ten.
By the way, with less talent every year than Ohio State, by
absolutely.
far. Yeah.
Yes. And so he's like, hey, I'm stepping into a thing where the Chargers have a lot of talent. You could argue the Chargers have more talent on the roster than the Chiefs do.
Yeah.
Right? And Justin Herbert's touted as a top 5 quarterback. And this. If the Chargers, their problem is if they can get their defense right, they can be really scary.
Yeah. And I think that you got to play them anyway. You may as well, who cares? If you want to win a Super Bowl. Anybody else we missed? I don't think so. I think those are the main ones.
The Sport Hole. Sports.
Who has the best uniforms in sports and sport?
Who has the best uniforms in sports in sport, he says. Pro, college, I've got mine. Do you have yours?
You go first.
Okay, mine is, and I wish we had their fight song, Larry. I'm a traditionalist, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Touchdown Jesus, Golden Domers. I hate when they do anything alternative, any alternate uniforms, the green Shamrock Series crap. I hate it. You got the best. You just see those, and that's what college football. It's like the New York Yankees of college football. What do you got, Max? You got a pro team. You got a college team. You got a different sport. This can be anything. It can be a Real Salt Lake.
Yeah.
It can be the Dallas Wings. Anything you want.
Yeah, this one was really tough for me as I was thinking about it. Just trying to do something unique, try to do something original. But I mean, well, first, did you see Notre Dame just released an alternate uniform for next season?
What is it?
It's like gray with bright gold numbers. They're calling it's their Wolf on Wall Street Notre Dame edition.
What?
Okay, that's the name of it. The Wolf on Wall Street is the name.
It's gold.
Is the name of this alternate jersey. Okay, it's just gray and gold. That's all it is.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. For me, there was a couple, both football. One, the Eagles Kelly Green, that Kelly Green with the gray, fantastic. And what has my heart and really just pisses me off is the Titans throwback to the Oilers.
Yeah.
I love the logo.
Yeah.
I love the powder blue with the red.
Yeah, buddy. The Warren Moons, right?
I mean, just fantastic,
Yeah.
beautiful uniforms. And I love the University of Houston, because those colors are related to the city of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw last season, the University of Houston made an alternate jersey.
They had the oil derrick on their helmet, right?
Yes, yeah, and all the colors, right?
Yeah.
Like the powder blue. And the NFL gave them a cease and desist, a C&D.
Oh, they did?
And the University of Houston said, suck it.
Yeah, good for them.
We're going to keep wearing this
That's
because
awesome.
It's associated with our city.
Yeah.
We're going to keep wearing it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Two good calls by you. The one other I wanted to say was the 1980s. When you think about Jordan when he's young.
Yeah.
And he's got the gold chains in the dunk contest.
Yes.
He's wearing the Red Bulls jersey, and it's the script, Chicago.
Yep.
No basketball players ever looked better than Jordan in those years.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry. All right. Let's do it.
The Sport Hole. Sports.
Best football movie to get you jacked for football season?
I already talked about Rudy.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go with one when I was a kid, Max. And it's probably Rudy, but I'll go with another one. It's called The Program. And it was about a team and the issues that they had behind it. Have you seen The Program?
Yep, of course.
Steroids and stuff like that, 90s. It was kind of like the team looked like Florida State. It wasn't called Florida State. But back in the day, Florida State was kind of the team that was known for that type of thing. I loved that movie. Loved everything about it.
Yeah.
Loved the action. Got me jacked up for football.
Yeah.
What do you got, buddy?
It's a tie for me. One, The Replacements. Seen that one?
With Keanu Reeves.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Playing quarterback. What is it? Injuries heal. Chicks dig scars. Legends last forever. Whatever his last quote was, right? Love that one. And the other one, Division III.
Oh, never seen it.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, a comedic take on what Division III college football. It might be pretty close, actually. What Division III college football looks like from the eyes of a Division III liberal arts college, the Blue Cox.
That's great.
Yeah, very hysterical football movie.
All right, great job, Max. That's the Sport Hole. We'll be back right after this on the Andy Thompson Show with Max Christiansen, Rustin Burnside as well will be with us a little later on. Thanks for being with us.